Alright, so Dying Light the Beast releases on August 22nd in just 2 months as not a DLC, but a standalone game. I still see people asking if it's a DLC, which I mean makes sense, but no, it is its own game, and it's actually been being referred to as like a Dying Light 3. Is that just some marketing mumbo jumbo to justify the $60 price tag on a game that was in the past being called a smaller spin-off game? And I mean, still is like a smaller spin-off game. Probably. I mean, I imagine Dying Light 3, if we ever get it, will be bigger than this and not just use the assets of Dying Light 2, or I hope not. And that's the reason a lot of people wonder if the Beast is a DLC besides the name, you know, looking like Dying Light's DLC The Following. It's because it started out as a DLC for Dying Light 2 and just slowly expanded. It's also been confirmed to be an average of 18 to 20 hours long. That's the estimation to complete the story and side activities, so if you take your time with it, it might run a bit longer. The 18 hours seems to be an estimation of if you just hard charge through the story and side missions. They said if you explore and actually do everything there is to do with finding collectibles, it'll probably take longer. If you want to put it into perspective, the estimated length to beat it is about double that of Dying Light's The Following DLC, and like half of the size of the first Dying Light. So a much smaller scale, and I'm personally not mad about that. It's apparently map-wise slightly smaller than the other games, but more compact and has less time spent doing nothing. Now, does a smaller game deserve a $60 price tag? The same price as Dying Light 1 and 2? A lot of people do not think so, but for me, I'll wait and see if this really is its own game, or just feels like a glorified DLC. If it's as good as it looks, I'm fine paying for it. What do you guys think? Is $60 too much for this game, or is it worth it if it ends up being as good as it looks? Do you even think the game looks good so far? You know, you have a lot of games that reuse assets that do not look nearly as good as this game does. And not everyone has to pay full price. Some of you will get it for free. If you purchased the Ultimate Edition of Dying Light 2 by like September of 2024, you get Dying Light the Beast for completely free. A lot of people are already seeing the game in their library. September of 2024 was when they stopped selling the Ultimate Edition of Dying Light 2, so if you own the Ultimate Edition, you will get the Beast for free. If you're not sure which edition you own, you'll have to check your purchase history. I know you can do that on Steam and see which one you purchased. It's coming to PC, Steam, and Epic Games, and not just next-gen consoles like PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, but last-gen as well. It is not coming to Nintendo Switch as of now. I don't think any Dying Light has ever been on the Switch though. This video has been brought to you by a game you might be familiar with already, but today we're talking about the Dwarves, the faction that comes from the deep mountain cities in Raid Shadow Legends' continent of Teleria. They have only come into the world recently after being isolated for centuries and have brought with them their engineering mastery, glowing runes, and massive weapons forged in their lava-fueled forges. They're as durable as a tank and hit like one too. This makes them great for Hydra, Doom Tower, and high-end arena, but many of them are great support characters too. They're like a mix of steampunk and fantasy. My favorite dwarf has got to be Gala for her design, but I also love the look of Tolan Foulbeard, who you can actually get for free right now if you're a new player. Speaking of that, you can actually get quite a few characters for free right now. All you have to do is click on my link down in the description or scan my QR code, which gives you all of these insane bonuses, but you have to click on my link in order to get them. If you download separately through the store or something, you're not going to get any of these rewards and you're going to miss out. But if you do, you will immediately get the huge starter pack with Ultimate Galek, who is a really powerful epic character. Once you reach level 15, you'll also get his wife, who is another epic champion named Zargala. Plus, after downloading with my link, you can use the promo code Demon Slayer to get the brand new legendary champion, Tolan Foulbeard, for completely free. This is only for new players and you'll get him 48 hours after downloading through my link or the QR code, and it's gotta be by the end of June. On top of all of that, not only for new players but existing players also, you can redeem 2 more promo codes with some useful resources that I will have down in the description. Come find me under the name Astrosiv and join my clan called Astro's Minions. Thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring the video. But for last gen consoles, the game has been delayed until they can optimize it, which makes sense after seeing the graphics of the Beast. I didn't know how the heck they were going to put this on last gen consoles, but right now they say it'll probably release on PS4 and Xbox One toward the end of 2025. Will the Beast even be playable on PS4 and Xbox One by then? Or I mean ever? I don't know, man. Those consoles are pretty dang old now, and looking at the Beast, I don't even know how that's an option, but I'm guessing they'll do something like back when Black Ops 3 released to both generations and the PS3 version felt like a potato. If you're wondering why they're even still supporting PS4 and Xbox One, the reason is most likely the fact that this was originally a DLC promised in the Dying Light 2 Ultimate Edition, which people purchased on those consoles, so they kinda have to release it to the old consoles or they'd probably have to refund them. But Dying Light the Beast is co-op, it's multiplayer, you can play with up to 4 players. Some people have wondered if it uses Denuvo on PC, it's probably going to since the second game did. I haven't seen anyone say yes or no to that, but it most likely will. If you want to know for sure, I would keep an eye on the Steam page once it gets closer to release. Cross-gen support was in the first game where you could play PS4 and PS5 together and was added in Dying Light 2 in a later update. So what about the Beast? We really do not know yet. They probably don't even know yet since those versions aren't even ready. When they come out with that info, I'll leave it down in the comments or the description, or if you see it first, let us know down in the comments. But as for actual crossplay between PS5 and Xbox and PC, there is none. At least as of now, so probably never, to be honest. I would love crossplay, but the Dying Light director said that they wouldn't be promising crossplay for Dying Light the Beast recently, or at least that they wouldn't at launch, which means it's probably not happening if we're looking at it realistically. It's not like they can just flip a switch and suddenly turn on crossplay if they didn't design the game to have that in mind. There are a lot of games where it boggles my mind how crossplay isn't an option. This isn't really one of them. I would love it, but I never expected to actually get crossplay for this, and I don't know if the developers just don't care for it or what, but it seems like crossplay has been somewhat slow to take off ever since ever really. There's so many games that sleep on crossplay, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Guns in Dying Light the Beast are back. The weirdness of not having them in Dying Light 2, at least at launch, is over. They are back, but there are some differences. Personally, I love how the gunplay looks. It sort of does remind me of an updated version of the original, but if you thought the first Dying Light's repair system was as cool as I did, where you just repair the weapon during gameplay while holding a button, you might be disappointed since they're still sticking with repairing weakened weapons through the weapon wheel or the inventory menu. Higher end weapons will wear down slower, but be more expensive on resources to repair, so lower end weapons are cheaper. They've also said there's plenty of new weapons that we've never seen before, like the grenade launcher, which comes with various types of grenades, and a flamethrower. And man, the flamethrower, I've gotta say, looks pretty dang good. I don't think I've seen the flames from a flamethrower in a game look this realistic. There's also different unique versions of regular weapons that you might have already played with while you're playing, hidden throughout the map in secret locations. And that's what takes me to the exploration, which is what's really exciting me about the Beast, because it definitely seems like it's gone for more of that grounded feeling from the first game, where they've narrowed their scope down and put some extra quality into the world. They've mentioned a lot about special or secret locations and keeping your eye out for spots that might have good loot, which is something I really loved about the first game, and I feel like the second was kind of lacking. I think what made the first Dying Light so good is that it felt like everything was handcrafted, because it was. Everything was placed there by the developers. I used to always wonder why Dying Light 2, even though I didn't absolutely hate that game, felt soulless and empty in a lot of the world, and that probably has something to do with them using a city builder tool that used procedural generation that apparently made it easier to make such a massive world. Well, the Beast is handcrafted. They did not do what they did with the second game. Will it be as handcrafted as the first game? You know, will it have that same quality? I don't know, man, but hearing the director talk about the Beast has got me pretty optimistic.
The narrative, all of those things to the world, this is a new game, and that's how the Beast was born, or that's how the Beast was unleashed.
They seem to actually like the game that they've made. They've said that there's no repeated generic buildings everywhere. Most buildings are able to be explored, and almost all of them involve using some sort of parkour to enter them. It looks like we'll also be able to freely explore at nighttime. There is no ticking clock like there was in Dying Light 2, which makes sense since you're Kyle Crane after the events of the following, and now, after being captured, looking like we're mutated to high heavens with different abilities. You know, he doesn't look like a normal human anymore. I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you didn't know, Dying Light the Following's DLC is the canon ending for the first game. There's a couple of different endings in there, but only one of them really makes sense to be able to continue the story. As for the timeline, they've made this like really cool little graphic to dumb it down for us smooth brains. After the events of Dying Light and the following, Kyle Crane is kidnapped, it looks like 8 or 9 years later, and like 11 or 12 years before the events of Dying Light 2. He's captured and tortured by the Beast's main villain for 13 dang years. So that might have to do with why he seems so dang angry this time around. The Beast takes place immediately after Dying Light 2, so the story goes in the same order of the games, the order that they were released in. If you wanted to play the story in order, you would just play 1, then 2, then The Beast. Obviously, nobody's beaten The Beast yet, so nobody really knows for sure how much Dying Light 2 will have to do with the story. You know, there might be some returning characters, but it most likely has nothing to do with it since it featured an entirely different main character named Aiden, and Kyle Crane was not in it. Unless you count like a secret Easter egg type thing that I won't spoil if you haven't played the second game. But there is a chance some characters might reappear from the second game, since on the Dying Light website it says that it might be helpful to play 1 and 2 to be familiar with the characters, but they also say that you don't need to play either of them. The game director has gone on to say the same thing. It would definitely be helpful to at the very least play the first game, and I highly recommend it, but the second game isn't all that bad either. A lot of people love it. I think it was decent, it had its ups and downs, so if you see them on sale, they're both worth playing. I would at least play the first. But you don't necessarily need to play either of them. The Beast can be your first Dying Light experience. You'll just obviously be a little bit more involved in the story if you know the previous events and some of the characters. If you don't know which edition to buy, there's only really 2. The standard edition includes just the base game for $59.99. For $10 more, at $69.99, the Deluxe edition will include the Castor Woods Prepper Bundle. This includes the Prepper outfit, the Roadhog vehicle, and the Survivalist SMG upgradable blueprint. It also comes with some other content like wallpapers, the soundtrack, and the Castor Woods tourist map. Apparently the tourist map will have all sorts of hints that lead you to resources or hidden locations. It seems like it's kind of like a mini guide to the game. For pre-ordering any edition of the Beast, you'll get the Hero of Haran bundle, which includes a pretty cool outfit, the Ultimate Survivor outfit, the In Jade's Memory pistol, the Haran combat knife, the Follower crossbow, and the Castor Woods patrol car. So some pretty cool items, I guess like little Easter egg items too. A lot of them are kind of callbacks to the other games in DLC. But oh yeah, if you purchase the Ultimate Edition of Dying Light 2, you not only get the Beast for free, or I guess not technically free since you did pay for it, but you also get the pre-order bonus items. If you want the Deluxe Edition, you can also purchase the Deluxe Edition upgrade after release. The price isn't confirmed, but it's most likely going to cost $10. The part that gets me about the price is that it's hard to ignore the reused animations and assets from 2. You know, it makes sense, it started out as a DLC for 2, and I don't necessarily hate when games do that. The Beast's gameplay reveals have looked pretty dang good, but a big complaint about the second game that's immediately noticeable in there was how much worse the animations and physics were than the first game. This is using a lot of the hype and nostalgia from the first game with Kyle Crane, but it's hard to ignore some of the stuff like the same worse animations where nothing feels as impactful, and I think that's where there will always be some controversy with this game no matter how good it ends up being. I highly doubt it'll be remembered as being like more nostalgic and better than the first game. All I'm hoping is that it's at least going down the right path and is fun to play. So far it sounds like, you know, besides the reused stuff, again since this was a DLC for Dying Light 2, it makes sense, but besides all of that, they seemed like they actually have listened to everyone and listened to what they actually want from the games. But yeah, that is pretty much it. Leave a like and let me know down in the comments what you guys think about Dying Light the Beast, and thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring the video. Don't forget to click the link down in the description and claim all of the free stuff that I went over. See ya.